Hey guys, Gathering the Magic back again, and this is an update for the common hero. As you can see, still have the basic common gear, have a couple of the faded emeralds just to give me some more stat points so I'm closer to 20. So now what I want to work on is start getting some damage gems for my weapon so I can start doing some more damage and getting more points on the leaderboard. So I went over to the market. And what I'm targeting now are rares, because eventually what I'm going to want for this character is I'm going to want rare items, because rare items can have 2 sockets as opposed to commons can only have 1. So eventually what I'm going to target is I'm going to target one of each rare item, so I can put eventually 2 sockets in each and then start putting some health gems in them, some armor gems, and of course damage. And eventually what I'm going to need is I'm going to need these force runes that allow me to play monsters from different summoners. So that'll give me more options for what I can use as summoners. Okay, so first thing, what I noticed was for damage gems, the cheapest damage gem right now for a rare is a faded turquoise. But even though it's cheap, it's still going for about 1500 forge. But we need to get some damage gems, and these are what we're going to be using from now on. I didn't want to spend the forge going for a common damage gem that only does 1 damage and then eventually have to upgrade, because that would just be wasted. So we're just going to go ahead and purchase a faded turquoise. So we're going to get the cheapest one on the market. We're going to add it to cart, click over here, click buy, and we will now have a damage gem. Now, the only downside to this is the only character that can benefit from this is my ranger. So if the rule set kind of forces me to play something other than a ranger, then I'm not going to get that bonus, but we're just going to have to do these one at a time. So now what I'm going to do is go to my cards, and I'm going to have to look for the bow and actually put, it will show where it's at. Here's my bow. So I'm going to have to add a socket. You can only add 1 socket to a common item. So it costs 300 to have a 100% chance that it will succeed. You could do less and kind of gamble and hope that you win the roll, but I always just go for the 100% just to make sure I get it. So that will cost 300. So now we have a socket. So now for the bow, we will go ahead and click imbue. And we'll imbue this faded turquoise, so this will give me +3 damage. So if we go back to our hero, we can now see that our hero is going to do 5 points of damage, which is huge. This will make a big difference for getting on the leaderboard. And the other thing as well that helps is this puts us over the 20 stat points that are required for bronze for full earnings. So right now you can see I have 20 of 20 stat points. So the rules won't hurt me too bad, I don't think. So once again, I'm going to go with Kelia and Lily. Now this forces me to basically only use water, dragon, and neutral. So the cards that I have rented and are using is I'm using Bakjira kind of for my tank, because it also has a slow, and I want to get as many slows as I can. So we're doing Bakjira, Rumancer Kai for damage, decent tank, lifesteal, Swamp Spitter for the repair, need a healer, so using the Guardian, using another slow, and that leaves us with 7 mana, so I'll also go for an extra repair. And then the last 4, since the rule set is kind of against magic, I'm not going to use a River Nymph. I'm going to use a Twilight Basilisk since he does 1.5 damage, so he'll be doing 3 points of damage. So we'll go ahead and battle, and actually, yeah, let's just do 1 battle. We won't do 2, see how we do. So the whole key here per fight is you're trying to get to 350 damage points every battle, because that will max out your earnings, and I believe it's at 12.5 forge if you can do the most damage. So right now we got almost 300, and this is the first time I'm getting full earnings now. So I'm getting full earnings for the leaderboard, almost 11 Forgium. Just a couple weeks ago when I started this account, you guys saw there was a lot of battles where I was only getting 1, 2, or 3 Forge. So we've made some really good progress so far. But like I said, the only issue is going to be if I have a rule set that goes against archery. I really don't want to reroll because even a first reroll at 3 Forge, I'm not earning that much. So I really want to limit my rerolls and hopefully not do any if at all possible. So we're going to do the same team. So this one is Retaliate, so it really won't make a whole lot of difference in the team other than I don't want to use the Basilisk. So instead we're going to use River Nymph for an extra point. Let me just go ahead and check to see if there's a better option. I could also do Kulu Swim Hunter. Let's go ahead and do that one because that one does 2 points of damage, has a little bit more hit points. Don't want to use melee. Yeah, it looks like that's probably the best option. And let's go ahead and let's do a 2 times battle. This will use 60 of our stamina. And see if we can finally get, I've yet to get 350 points of damage in a battle. Of course, for the longest time I wasn't earning the full amount. So there we go. So there's 586. Now this is for 2 battles. So getting just over 10, about 10.5 Forge. So we're getting there. So now the key is going to be if I can somehow get on the leaderboard, which I probably will not be able to do this time around. But now that I have, you know, a better equipped, at least, Ranger, we can start working our way towards that. And I think, again, let's actually add that to favorites. So Scattershot. Scattershot's a good one to do a ×2 on because of Lily. So the Scattershot should not affect me. And we should do a decent amount of damage. So this boss is kind of one of the easier bosses. That's why he's already down to 20%. I think he just spawned yesterday. Identical stats, so another 586 damage, 21.33 Forge. So the Forge is beginning to add up a little bit quicker now. Death Blow. Death Blow is another rule set I like to see. Yeah, see, I'm way off the leaderboard. Of course, I just did upgrade this hero, so like I said, hopefully in the next, when the next bronze boss spawns, we'll be able to do a little bit better. Okay, let's do another ×2. I was thinking of if on the marketplace, look at this, exactly 586. If there was cheap items again on the marketplace, I was thinking of buying just common items and reforging since I'm going to need rares anyway. The problem is the cheapest item, which is this Worn Wand, is almost 275 Forge. Now my target price was under 200. And I think like a week and a half ago, the cheapest items were like 150, 160 Forge, which I don't have any problem spending that for 4 commons, because, you know, 150 each is 600, another 150 for the reforge. If you're only spending 750 Forge to get a guaranteed rare that may be a gold, to me that's a no-brainer. Because if you look, if you just wanted to get rares, you know, the cheapest rare is going to run you about 650 to 700 anyway. You know, if you get a decent rare like a quiver, you know, you're looking at over 1100. So just kind of a little tip is check the price of commons from time to time, and if you see the commons are under 200, ideally under 175, then go ahead, get 4 commons. You may need less if you have some commons already in your inventory. But definitely target trying to get some commons and reforging them to rares, especially if you need a build where you're using a lot of rares anyway, or you're just starting to equip your character. And then if you can get that 10% chance of a gold foil rare, you're going to get extra 8% Forge, which really does add up over time. So let's do a couple more battles. So we've got Retaliate. So we've been lucky we haven't had the return fire rule set or rule for him. So we can still use the Ranger. Do a couple more battles, see how we do. So we're up to 189. He's got 20%, so probably sometime this evening, late tonight, is when someone will kill this boss, and we'll have a new one tomorrow. So don't want to do any melee. So again, we'll go, whoops, healer, Kulu Swim Hunter. We have no melee, so let's go ahead and do ×2 again. See if we get 586 damage. Seems to be the number. Hey, look at that, 586. Another death blow, so let's go ahead and do the same thing. We're up to rank 187. So a lot of people say, yeah, this is tedious, you know, it's kind of boring. And I can understand that, but the way I look at it is you're getting experience, you're getting Electrum, you're building up your forge, you're improving your character. Think of this as Splinterlands. When Splinterlands came live in 2018 and the game was very, very basic, there weren't a lot of people playing, there wasn't a lot of options, and the people that played then, invested the time then, built up their assets then. Guess what happened? What was it, 3 years later? They did the huge airdrop based on the size of your collection, and the people that had bought all the cards and earned all the cards early on, the alphas and the betas, were rewarded with lots and lots of free SPS for a year. And I remember seeing Bulldog's video when SPS drop went live, and they dropped SPS based on the size of your account and your assets. And I remember he had over $50,000 in SPS in his account. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Not saying anything like that is going to happen guaranteed in SplinterForge, but there's going to be a lot of updates, a lot of changes to the game. Who knows if at some point they do some kind of airdrop, you know, a year, 2 years down the road, if they do come out with a new token or, you know, some new feature to the game. So playing now, even when it's basic, you're basically just saying, hey, I enjoy the game and I'm looking for better things in the future. So, okay, this rule set, we do have return fire, so I'm actually going to re-roll this one. I think this might be the only one I'm going to re-roll, is the return fire. So you're guaranteed once you re-roll, it will not be the same one twice. Now, if I was to re-roll again, there is a chance it might go back to return fire. So, but death blow is a good rule set, so we'll go ahead and do that again. We're up to 186. So once again, same team, same order. Put the healer last. Do another ×2 battle. Get some more free forge. 576, so we did 10 points less this time. But still almost 21 forge, which is huge. Like I said, just a couple weeks ago, I was like happy if I got 4 or 5 forge. Okay, this one is Magic Reflect, so this one won't be the best for us, so I'm definitely not going to do a ×2 battle on this. Oops. So, Bacteria, because Rumancer Kai will get hit with the Magic Reflect, but it will basically offset with the Life Leech. So we're just going to do a single battle. That'll take us down to 225 stamina. So we'll be able to do a couple more battles. Yep, 293 for a single battle. Which is, if you double it, 586. There's that number again. Okay, Thorns. So we're getting lucky with the rule sets for this build. Because we really don't have melee, so we don't have to worry about Thorns. So let's go ahead and do a ×2. And you can see my forge was pretty low. I used almost all of it buying that that gem for my bow, and now I'm already up to over 250. And we're getting 20, 21 every time we use the ×2 for the battles. So very quickly we're going to get close to 300 again by the time we run out of stamina. Up to rank 180. So after we're done doing these last couple fights, I'm going to look and see how close I am to getting 150. That's the whole key. Get to at least rank 150 so you can earn some extra rewards for the leaderboards. Hey, 586. Should play that for a daily 3 number. Okay, so I've got enough stamina to do one more times 2. This one might be a times 1. That's not the best rule set, but not the worst with the reduced magic. So this one I think is just going to be a regular fight. That'll leave us 75, so we can do one more times 2 battle. 261. That is so nice getting full earnings now. Okay, shield. Normally shield would, well, shield is not the greatest because of the bow, but I still will get full earnings. So this one, we're going to switch up one. So instead of doing Kulu, well, either way I'm going to do 1 point of damage. They have the same as speed, so they're going to attack the same. I guess I might as well just stay with Kulu, because it's got a couple more hit points. So we'll just do a times 1. And then we'll do one last battle and see how much forge we ended up with. 158. So we've got enough stamina for one last fight. Hopefully get a decent rule set. Thorns. Yep, Thorns is a good rule set. We're up to 176. So we've already gone from the 190s to 176. So let's see how we can do after this last battle. And as you can see, the battles are going a lot quicker. I don't have to wait in between. The 15-second timer is huge. It really has saved me a lot of time. That would be 586 again. Okay, so we ended up purchasing that gem. So now we have full payout if I play my ranger. We're back up over 300 forge. Looking at the leaderboard, we're up to 172. So let's just take a quick look. So to get to 150 currently, I need 18,000, a little over 18,200 points. So say about 4,000 points to get me in the top 50. So I'm getting, what, a little under 300 per single battle. So I'm probably not going to get on the leaderboards this time around. As you can see, if I could, I'd be getting, you know, a couple 300 forge, which is nice and it will add up over time. But right now, just happy to be able to get consistently, as you guys saw, around 10 forge per battle, 20 if I do the times 2. So this amount's slowly going to tick up. The next thing I'm going to target is probably going to be, for the rares, I'm going to look for the other 2 damage gems so that I can swap between heroes no matter what the rule set and get 100% payout no matter what. So the other 2 damage gems, let's just click on this. So we got the ranged. So now I need an obsidian, which currently looks like it's going to cost a little over 1,700 forge. And then the amethyst for the wizard is going to cost a little over 1,800. So we're looking at 3,600 forge to get those last 2 items that we need. So before I end the video, let's go ahead. So this is actually the beginning of week number 3. So I will fill this information out at the end of the day. The boss is the same with True Strike. I'm using the same summoners. And the item that we purchased was a faded, I'll have to look up the cost, can't remember exactly what it was. A faded turquoise. Okay, and then I'll make note of how much that I spent on that. I know it was 1,500 and some. Okay guys, there you have it. So there's the next update for the common hero. Like I said, the hero, we're starting to get to the point where the earnings are decent. So as you can see, pretty much still common gear. Did those couple reforgings early on that I probably shouldn't have. I was just really hoping to get a gold foil. What this does do though is this allows me, I now have one extra shield, so I have one extra common. So if the common prices come down for common items, I only have to purchase 3 of them to be able to reforge in a rare, and we'll see what we'll get. But as you can see now, I have full earning potential now with the Ranger. Now I just have to get those for the other 2 characters, and we will be good to go. We'll be good to go for a while, and then it's just the grind up to, you know, getting a couple thousand forge in the account, buying another piece of rare armor, rare weapon, you know, and slowly building from there. So I'll keep you guys in the loop as for the next update and what is next for the character. Until then, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about SplinterForge in general, about how items work, reforging, imbuing, any kind of thing like that at all, please leave those in the comments below. And until then, remember, keep on forging.